When I was a kid, growing up in the 80s, there was nothing more than you wanted to be than a fucking man. You either wanted to be a police officer, a fucking ninja, a action hero, a firefighter, but you wanted to be something that was in charge, and you wanted to be a man, and you wanted to fuck shit up and take names and numbers and fucking sort it out at the end of the fucking movie. Today, I don't see a lot of people wanting to be men. I see a lot of males. I feel bad for women today. There ain't a lot of dudes to, there ain't a lot of men. There ain't a lot of leadership for you to really pick from. And plus, your generation is growing up teaching, men it's okay to wear women's underwear and shit like that, It's just fucking insanity. And then you're supposed to, man, God forbid if you don't go along with that shit, you're a bigot, you're a hater, you're a this or that or whatever. It's like, no, man. I met a girl down in Sarasota doing her pest control. She had Washington plates. And, Washington State went to fuck city, especially Seattle and that whole area. I said, what did you move down here for other than it fucking rains every day? She said, I was just tired of fucking men dressed up as women coming into my kids' schools and reading them fucking stories and shit. My one kid in kindergarten said, Mommy, this guy came in dressed as a clown today. Yeah, because that's what it is. It's a fucking mental illness. I remember on Sally Jesse Raphael when they'd have a cross-dresser on, which I know you're not supposed to say that word, but that's what the fuck it is. I'm not buying into this, whatever the fuck you want to call it. They would have them on and they would just, whatever. Now, I'm not going to apologize or anything. I'm not saying that I have hate for these. I really don't give a fuck what you do if you want to embarrass yourself. But as long as you ain't hurting children, animals, old people, kids, whatever the fuck, you do whatever you want. You're an adult. You want to do that stuff and I don't care. Listen, you want to walk around in public with that? Go ahead. Go ahead. You know what I mean? Fucking insanity. But like back in the day, I don't know if it's just something that maybe I'm alone in this, but when you were younger, you wanted to be, I'm talking at like 4 and 5 years old. I knew that I wanted to protect people that couldn't protect themselves. I knew that I wanted to fuck people up that were hurting women or children or whatever, the bad guy. I wanted to be the good guy. I don't know, maybe they don't watch enough G.I. Joe growing up here today, but it's just like, it just gets me so fucking wound up. The amount of people I see filming shit and not getting involved, and the amount of people I see, like I'm 47. I used to be worried, okay, when I was fat and fucking addicted to drugs that, eventually people are going to be able to outwork me, especially younger people. And so when I get into these physically labor-intensive jobs and I'm 300 pounds and I can barely stand for 10 minutes and 20-year-old kids aren't able to fucking outwork you, that's a problem. Imagine if I'm experiencing that in different parts of America. There's a lot more people experiencing it than just me, And as I got back into shape and got my shit together, and got sober through the grace of God, I give him all the glory. I just go, like the kid across from me, 27 years old, bro, you got 6 kids. What are you going to tell your kids? What are your kids going to say, God forbid, later on, when they grow up, not that this earth is going to be here that much more, but what are you going to tell your kids? Like, what are your kids going to say? Oh, what did your dad used to do when you were like 5 or 6? When he used to, they're going to say, I don't remember him. They're going to say playing video games. I don't know. When I was a kid, like I said, you either wanted to be a cop, a ninja, an action hero, a firefighter, something. You know what I mean? Like Charles Bronson, maybe a little better looking. But I don't know. It's just that people today, they just don't have that zing, like see dude's girlfriend out at the bus stop in the dark, 5 o'clock in the morning, taking the bus to her job, and you're You're not at work, you're in bed. That would be the day I used to ride my bike with my girlfriend to her work or to the nearest bus and wait with her. Okay, one day, not too far from my house, a guy walked out of the fucking back of the store in front of me with no pants on, and she would have been riding alone. You know what I mean? And she didn't care if she rode it. She was like, oh, I'm like, no, I'm not having something happen to you. And then your family go, well, where the fuck were you? You're supposed to be protecting her. You know what I mean? That's your fucking job, pussy. Oh, you didn't want to get out of bed? You know, you're going to let the mother of your kids go sit in the dark so anybody can just roll up on her in a fucking car? Bro. And then people want to fucking talk. Oh, I'd like to go to the gym with you. Yeah, good luck with that. You can't even get out of bed and fucking protect your wife. The last thing you're going to do is go to the gym. You know what I mean? I don't know. So I'm not saying it to be negative. This is honestly a fucking thing that's going on. You know what I mean? This isn't like a joke. You know, like this is something. Now, back in the day when older people used to say, oh, your generation, you know, they were kind of being cranky old people. Now, I'm not even old, and I'm telling you, this generation is fucked. You know, the music sucks, the movies suck, everything they're being told sucks. It's kind of like almost not even their fault, but you do know fundamentally in your heart what's wrong and what's right. You know, I'm not better than anybody. I'm just exercising, you know, my, you know, like man card. And I'm just saying, like, we need to get people, you know, in the fucking ranks of being responsible, you know, parents, responsible fathers. You know, young kids today need mentors. You know, well, we need men to mentor. You know, there's a shortage of men. There's a lot of males around teaching kids how to pick up guns and sell drugs and shit and hustle and take the blame for them because they're a juvenile and they're looking for acceptance because they don't have a dad. You know what I mean? Like, the whole trajectory of this shit is wrong. You know that shit's wrong, even as a 25-year-old picking up fucking getting cocaine and cooking it and whatever, or even selling pills or whatever you're doing. You know? Like, go to work. You know, that's what I used to say. One thing I don't used to say, I still say this. I'm home when the street lights come on, because I don't know if you've ever watched Cops. Most of the arrests happen when, you know, the fucking sun goes down. So your ass is in the house, you got less of a chance of getting arrested. You know what I mean? Even though I could still find a way to get arrested in the daytime. But I'm just saying, like, you do have a, you know, there is value in going home early, you know? And there ain't nothing, it's like, there ain't nothing at no bars or no clubs or, you know. I don't know, man. I just don't know what. People say, oh, don't worry about it. It's not your problem. Is it not my problem, though? When you're raising kids that are going to be, you know. I'm just saying, man. Man, I wasted fucking 10 years of my life, you know. I wish, I mean, fuck, I'd be happy to get 3 of them back. I mean, I do thank God that I got fucking, you know, my shit together, and I give him all the credit. Damn, man, like, you're only gonna be, I see these girls in these relationships with these fucking losers, and it's like, sweetie, you're gonna get pregnant, you're in college, you're only gonna be in your 20s once, maybe you didn't have a good role model as a, you know, whatever, but man, don't squander these opportunities, you know? Don't squander your time, okay, is currency. You giving your time to some fucking guy that don't have a job, letting him drive your car, isn't a wise way to spend that currency.